I remember how quiet he stood. Not defeated, just still. Like a man who had learned that speaking too soon only gives people more reasons not to listen. He wasn't dressed like the others who usually stood there. No polished suit. No expensive watch. Just a plain shirt, slightly worn at the collar, and hands resting in front of him like he didn't want to take up too much space. They said he committed fraud, paperwork manipulation, false filings, intent to deceive. Big words that sounded final before anyone even asked a real question. I watched his mother sit behind him, fingers wrapped around a small photo she kept pressing into her palm like it could hold him together. She didn't cry. Not yet. But you could see it building, that quiet kind of breaking that happens when the room turns against you. The prosecutor spoke fast, confident, certain. He laid everything out like it was already decided. Dates, numbers, signatures, a story so clean it didn't feel like a story at all. It felt like a conclusion. And the judge, he didn't even try to hide it. He leaned back, one hand resting on the bench, a faint smirk sitting on his face like he'd seen this 100 times before, and every time ended the same way. Another one, he muttered under his breath. Not quiet enough. The man at the front didn't react, didn't flinch, just stood there waiting. When it was his turn to speak, he opened his mouth. I didn't answer what you're asked, the judge cut in. Sharp, dismissive, like his voice didn't belong in that room. A few people shifted. Someone behind me whispered something I couldn't catch, but I didn't need to. I knew the tone. I'd heard it before. The man tried again. Careful this time. Measured. The documents. The judge laughed. Actually laughed. Short. Dry. The kind that ends conversations before they begin. You expect me to believe you didn't know what you were doing? He said, leaning forward slightly. You signed them. Signed. That word hung heavy, like it was enough to erase everything else. The man nodded slowly. I did, he said. That caught the room off guard. Even the prosecutor paused. But the judge smiled wider. There it is, he said. Finally, something honest. The man didn't argue, didn't raise his voice. He just stood there, holding something back. And then he said it. Quiet. Clear. You should read the second page. The judge blinked. Just once. What? The second page, the man repeated. Not the signature page. The room shifted. Subtle, but real. The prosecutor frowned. That's irrelevant. It's not, the man said. Still calm. Still steady. For the first time, his voice didn't sound small. It sounded certain. The judge leaned back slightly, irritation flashing across his face. You're not here to direct the court, he said. But something in the air had changed. Because now, people were listening. Really listening. The judge sighed, like he was indulging something pointless. He flipped the file, turned the page, and then, everything stopped. No movement. No sound. Just stillness. Because whatever he was reading didn't match what he thought he knew. He read it again. Slower. His smirk faded. The prosecutor leaned in, trying to see. What is it? He asked. The judge didn't answer. Not right away. Because now, the story had changed. And he hadn't been the one to change it. The man at the front spoke again. Same calm. Same steady voice. The second page lists the authorizing party, he said. Not me. The prosecutor grabbed the file. Scanned it. His posture shifted instantly. Because now, the signature didn't mean what they thought it did. It wasn't authorization. It was acknowledgement. And the real authorization came from someone else. Someone higher. Someone not in that courtroom. The room didn't react loudly. It unraveled quietly. Confidence slipping. Certainty cracking. The judge leaned forward now. Really looking. Not at the accusation. At the man. Seeing him for the first time. Not as a case. Not as a conclusion. As someone who had been trying to speak from the very beginning. Why didn't you say this earlier? The judge asked. The man didn't hesitate. You didn't let me finish. That landed heavier than anything else. Because it wasn't anger. It wasn't defiance. It was truth. Simple. Unavoidable. The judge leaned back slowly. The weight of his own words still sitting in the room. The laughter. The dismissal. The certainty. All of it still there. Only now, it meant something different. The ruling didn't take long after that. It couldn't. Because once truth enters a room like that, it doesn't leave quietly. It stays. It settles. It forces everything else to move around it. And as the room shifted, slower now, more careful, I realized something I won't forget. The man they thought was guilty was the only one who had been telling the truth from